Hi everybody, this is Michelle and I'm here today to share my third project for Country Craft Creations using the Purebred line from Authentique. This is my third design team project using this paper line, and I'm really sorry I'm late. I have been really super sick and I'm still actually not feeling well, and it's going to be quite an endeavor hopefully to get this done and hopefully make sense. So I apologize in advance. I know I probably sound kind of funny and I'm still, not feeling well, but I want to get this done and I want to get this out, and I've got a really cute folio project with a couple new surprises for you. So again, we're using the Purebred line from Authentique. And this has been a really, really fun paper line to work with. And you know that my first couple projects have been kind of dog related. This one is going to be for dogs and cats. So if you have both animals, you have plenty of dog and cat papers to choose from in this paper line. So head on over to Country Craft Creations and pick up your papers, and we'll get started. I will do a cutting list in the description, and I did a cutting guide, and that will be on my blog. I have pictures of the papers, so you can head on over to see how to cut your cardstock. And in the description, I will also put down, as best as I can and to the best of my knowledge, how much paper I used. Sometimes I get going and then I forget to count, but I think I got a pretty accurate set of measurements on what papers I used. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to create the outside of the folio. And the folio is basically comprised of 3 different pieces of paper. And in the cutting guide and in the list, I'm calling them Folio A, Folio B, and Folio C. And then there's a couple flaps that will go on to those. So let me get the flaps part out of the way for just a sec. So Folio A piece is 9 by 8.5. And on the 9-inch side, you're going to score at 6.5 and at 8.5. Okay, so just put that in your scoreboard. Folio A is 9 by 8.5, and put it in with the 9-inch side, and then score at 6.5 and at 8.5. This is going to give you a folio album size of 8.5 by 6.5, and it's going to give you, this first spine will be 2 inches. Okay, and then the next piece we're going to need is, and I chose the gray artisan cardstock, and I also used some Kraft artisan cardstock in this folio as well, and it turned out really, really beautiful with this paper. So folio piece B is 8 1/4 by 8.5, and on the 8 1/4 side you're going to score again at 6.5 and at 7 3/4. Okay, so 8 1/4, 8 by 8.5, score on 6.5 and at 7 3/4. And then folio piece C will be 6.5 by 8.5, and there is no scoring on this particular piece of paper. So the base of this folio is super easy to put together. So we're just going to fold our scores and burnish them. Folio C, obviously we don't need to do. And then folio A and B, we'll have scores, so we'll go ahead and fold and burnish those. And then you're going to want to miter the corners on the 1/2-inch little tab, because that's what's going to attach everything together. Oh, I can't believe the sick bug I've had. It has really been bad. Yesterday was the first day I actually came in my craft room. So I don't know how long I'm going to last in here. I'm hoping to get this video done today. So you're going to turn the pieces over so that the scores line up, and then we're just going to, attach our pieces just like that, okay? So, well, actually we can do it on this side, because you're going to want to attach your pieces together on that tab. So get your art glitter glue and Put your glue. See how long it's been since I've been in my craft room? My glue won't come out of the tip. That's how long it's been. I have been sitting on the couch doing nothing but watching TV, which after a while gets really boring. Okay, because even with cable, daytime TV isn't that great. All right, so I'm gonna line that up just to the score, not over the score, and then do it again on this side. And then we'll have our folio, the outside folio base done. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over, and you're going to want to flip it over so you still have the A, B, and C pieces in order like that. This is going to be the inside of your folio. This will fold up like this, and that'll go like that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So when we put it together, this is the outside, this is where our scores are, okay? A, B, C, and we're just going to turn it over, and this is going to be the inside of our folio. And then what we're going to do on the inside of this folio is we're going to add our flaps to the left and right sides. So we're going to add a flap to the A piece, and we're going to add a flap to the C piece. The B piece is the middle section. That's what I've been calling it. So you'll need 2 flaps, and they're each measuring 7 by 8 1/4, so they're a little bit shorter than the album itself. And you're going to score on the 7-inch side on each one. You're going to score at 1/2 and at 3/4. So that's going to give you a 1/4 inch gusset on each of these 2 pieces. Okay, so again, we're going to fold and burnish. And just be careful and make sure you keep that 1/4 inch gusset. Just like that. Okay, and then again, we're going to grab our scissors, and I'm going to miter those just a little bit on the 1/2 inch tab so that we can attach them to our book. This folio is really super simple to put together, but it has a couple of fun things that I kind of played with, and it turned out really, really cute. So take keep them the same. Okay, so I called this one left flap and then this one right flap. So the left flap will go on the piece that's A here, and it's just going to go on the side, and it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch. Let's see if you can see that. Get it in the middle here. 1/8 of an inch from the top and the bottom, okay? So it's just a wee bit shorter. I did that on purpose because I just wanted to. I wanted to see some stuff behind it, kind of give a little tease as to what's behind the flap. And I'm sorry, I know I'm shaking too. I've got taken some cold medicine to try to see if I can breathe, and it's making me a little bit shaky. All right, let me grab my rack here. Okay, so now we have created a flap on the A side, so that's gonna fold over like that, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So this will have several sections that open up. Okay, so we've added our flaps to our folio. So now you'll have flaps on each side that open out, and then this will fold over, and then this will fold over. So you should have a piece that kind of looks like this. All right, hopefully that is in camera. All right, And I'm leaving, I left the things on now just so that we can keep an orientation, okay? So we've got our flaps on. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to put some pockets on our pieces. So you're going to need 2 vertical pockets, and then you're going to need 2 horizontal pockets. So you'll have one for kind of each side here. We'll go through this. So you'll have the vertical pockets are 9.5 by 3, and you're just going to score them at 1/2 inch on the 3 sides. All right, I won't go through that. I've already scored them. So 1, 2, 3, 2 short and 1 long. So 9.5 by 3, you need 2 of these and score on 3 sides at 1/2 inch, 2 short, 1 long. And then we're going to do the horizontal pocket. You'll need 2 of those as well, 7.25 by 3, and again score on 3 sides at 1/2 inch. So 2 short and 1 long for the horizontal pockets. Okay, and then you're going to do one. You're going to have 1 horizontal and 1 vertical for each side of your project. Okay, so let's work on the left side, and then I can do the right side off camera because they'll be exactly the same way except just on the other side. Okay, so I'm just going to miter my corner like you would do to make your pockets. And I am going to take those sticky notes off because they're just going to get in the way. Okay. Well, actually, I could. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So then go ahead and fold and burnish your scores. These are going to create some cute little pockets to put lots of pictures of you and your lovey pets. I have 2 dachshunds who are 15.5 years old. They will be 16 in June, and I can't believe it. And they're crazy cute little buddies. They have been my little nursemaids while I've been sick. They have just been by my side the whole time, and been very sweet to me. Okay, so now that we've got our pockets ready, get that out of the way. So open up this flap that we added on. Okay, so this is the flap we added on, and this is the back of piece A. So the vertical pocket is going to go right here on the back of piece A, and the horizontal pocket is going to go on the back of the flap that we just added. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put those down. Add our art glitter glue. Again, I'm using gray artisan cardstock, which I thought looked absolutely fabulous with the papers line. And I'm also going to use some Kraft cardstock that I got from Craft Creations. And the Kraft is, it's not the linen like all the other ones, but it is equally beautiful, and the color just went perfect with these papers. Okay, sorry, I am really shaky. I didn't realize how shaky I was till I started doing something. All right, and then this piece will lay down right there. And remember, again, don't get it on your score line because you want your pockets to be able to, or your pages to be able to turn. All right, so you're going to do that to both sides. Okay, so you'll have a piece. You got your flap that we added. Now you have a horizontal pocket, and then you have your vertical pocket. And that's going to go on both sides. And I guess, well, I could do that. I'll just speed it up. So you're going to see a sped up version of this because I'm going to go ahead and do that in the editing. Okay. Okay, so now let's work on the middle section here, and the middle section is really easy to do. So you're going to need a couple different things. It's going to have a belly band, and then we'll have some kind of gatefold flaps. So I'm calling this a midsection bottom flap and a midsection top flap. They're both the same, and they both measure 5 by 6 1/4. And you're going to put them in your scoreboard with the 5-inch side on top, and you're going to score again at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inch to give you a 1/4 inch gusset. Okay, so do both of those that way. Again, they're 5 by 6 1/4. You'll need 2 of these. Put them in your scoreboard with the 5-inch side on top. Score at 1/2 inch and at 3/4 inch. And then the middle section belly band is 2 by 7 1/2 inches. And you're going to score on the 7-inch side at 1/2 inch and at 7, which will give you the 1/2 inch tabs you need to put the belly band on. So pretty simple. You don't have to miter the corners for these because they are going to be covered up with pattern paper. I got glue on that part, which I don't want. I am very shaky. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my centering ruler here, and it should line up with the center. The bottom part should be about 4 1/4 because it's 8 1/2 tall, and that should line up right about there. Okay, right in between those score lines. Whoop, I'm going to throw that too while I'm at it. Alright, so belly band's on. And then now, and these aren't going to, they will be covered up with pattern paper. You can miter this if you want to. I think I'm going to just because I feel like it, but again, this is all going to be covered up with pattern paper. Okay, so we have 2 of those. I am shaky. I'm trying to get this done before I wilt too much to get it done. Okay, I'm going to miter off camera because then I don't have to worry about picking them up. That'll save a little bit of time. Okay. And then these are just going to go on the top and the bottom here on this middle section, which is the folio piece B. Okay, and again, trying to make sure you keep your gusset, and it is about 1/8 inch from either side of the midsection score lines. So it's on purpose cut a little bit shorter. That will also help the folio turn when you want to fold it all up. So you have that one there, and then we'll have this one here. Get this out of the way. I'm going to turn it around just because it's going to be easier for me to do it. And then when you do this, just line this up with the other one, and you'll get it nice and even. So that way, if you eyeball it like I do, it will still line up properly. All right, so, okay, so there's that. So we have our base done. This is the base of our book. All right, so you should have your opening section here, your gatefold kind of opening here with a belly band underneath, and then you have your flaps, and each flap will have a horizontal pocket on the add-on flap, and then a vertical pocket on the folio base piece itself. Excuse me. So you'll have those. So that's going to be the main folio. Now, what should I do next here? What should I do next? next, what we're going to do is we're going to work on the accordion pocket that's going to go on here. Now, what's so special about this accordion pocket is that this pocket will be attached with magnets so that when you open this folio up, you will see this beautiful accordion pocket, but then surprise, surprise, it comes out, and the magnets hold this down, and that's what keeps us all together. So let's do that, and I'll show you how. Here's your pieces here. So you're going to need a couple different pieces. So envelope piece A, which will be the base of the envelope, is going to be 11 1/4 by 8. And you're going to take that and put it in your scoreboard. And you're going to score on the 11 1/4 inch side. If I can get it in my scoreboard, at 5 1/2 and at 5 3/4. Okay, 5 1/2, 5 3/4 on the 11 1/4 inch side. So that's piece A. Piece B, which is the flap of the envelope, is going to be 8 by 3 1/2, and you're going to put that in your scoreboard, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch, and that'll give you a little bit more gusset room give there. Okay, so 8 by 3 1/2, and score at 1/2 inch, at 3/4 inch, and at 1. And then you're going to need the two side pieces. These are going to be put on separately. And these are 3 by 5 3/8. 3 by 5 3/8. And on the 3 inch side, we'll score every 1/2 inch. So at 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2. Okay? And that's all you need for those pieces. So let's get rid of this. And I'm going to go ahead and just do your accordion fold on your pieces. Okay, just like that. It's going to give you a nice big pocket to put all of your things in. You could even, you know, use this as like a puppy's first year with all their information from their vet, and like if you got them from a breeder, you could keep your information for your breeder in there, whatever your little heart desires. Okay, so then I'm just going to fold this flap and fold on the other score lines as well. Okay, and then miter the corners on the flap. Okay, like that. And then on your envelope here, go ahead and fold that. And then like this. Okay, so you'll have a piece that looks like this, and then you have your flap, and then you have your two sides. Okay, so really, really simple to put together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere the flap with the tab in the back, like that. So this will go on the outside of the envelope, but it will be covered up with pattern paper when we're all done with it, so no one will ever see it. And you're just going to want to put that at the score line. Excuse my hair if it's in the way. There we go. Okay. Okay. And then you can round these corners if you want, or angle them however you want to do that. You could put a pretty decorative edge on there if you want. And then we're going to just glue our sides in. Now, these are a little bit shorter than the pocket here. And so I just centered it right in the middle. I didn't miter the corners I don't think you really need to, but you can if you want. And then just make sure when you put them down that the cut edge here, it'll go in your book or in your envelope like this. And then I'm just going to lay that down. Just right on either side of those score lines. Okay. I'll make sure those are nice and glued down. Okay. And again on the other side. There we go. So those will be the sides of our envelope. And then we will just need to glue them down to the other side. This is a little bit tricky, but it can be done. Just make sure that you keep your bottom gusset when you do it. Okay, like that. Okay, so there you have your envelope. Okay, so now, and it's nice and big too. This will accommodate lots of fun stuff. So then what we're going to do is we're going to need a couple of magnets. And let me find, I know I put them in here somewhere in my pile of stuff to do. Here we go, because we will need 3 magnets. So you'll need one for the actual closure of the envelope itself. And then you will need one for, or excuse me, 2 for putting it in the folio. And I only used 2 to actually attach it into the folio, and it seemed to work out just fine. So the top of this flap, we put 2 scores in there. So basically, I'm just going to fold those down so that 1/4 inch score is on each side. So we folded it right in the middle, and then that'll help us find the midline there. Gosh, I hope that makes sense where it folds over onto the paper so that we keep our gusset. That's what I'm trying to say. So just make sure when you do that, there we go. So there's your fold, and then I'm just going to grab a piece of score tape and put that over, and then that'll be like that. Okay, then on the back, we're just going to put a couple magnets. Whoops! These things are always so much fun to do. Okay, there's one. All right. So then let's grab our folio. We're going to open it up, and this pocket is going to sit right on top of there. Okay, so what I did when I put this thing together is I folded up the 1/4 inch gusset and then the other one so that it would lay flat when I put this on. And then I just put one here. And then I put one down here. And I turn my envelope over, and you can have the opening either, side you want. And then simply just centered this and then pressed it down. And then there you go. No, you don't, because you have to take the I told you I haven't been feeling good. Oh my gosh. Okay, so eventually, yeah, we'll get this done. Okay, so I'm putting that flat and I'm centering this. And that looks pretty darn good right about there. Okay, and then I'm going to push that down. Now this time it should stick. Yep, it sure did. So now you have your envelope that is completely removable and also creates the closure to your gatefolds. Like that. So, pretty neat, huh? So when this folds over, then all of that will be contained on the inside. Okay, so there it is. And then it's easy to take off, and we can cover this with pattern paper, which I'm going to do. And then when you take this off, it's also a lot easier to get into because now you can have it free. It's free to play with. And then this will open up, and then you'll have additional hiding spots for things and pictures and whatnot in there. So there is that. Now, what we're going to do, we got a couple more features to work on. So we're going to do a pocket waterfall. And on this one, for interest, I went ahead and used Kraft cardstock just to give a little more color. I'm going to use Kraft cardstock on a couple different things just to kind of add a little bit more color to everything, brighten it up just a little bit. I was thinking about using ivory, but it was just too much. It was too bright, but the Kraft works just perfect. So we're going to make 6 waterfalls, and they're going to be pockets. So you'll need 6 pieces of paper that measure 9 by 7.5, and then you're going to put them in your scoreboard. On the 9-inch side, you're going to score at 4.5. And then on the 7.5-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2 and at 7. Okay, you're going to do that for all 6 pieces. Okay, take 3. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to make, this is going to be not only the pocket, but also it's going to create the addition to the page. So the tab that we're going to actually use to attach the page. So you're going to want to cut this piece just like this. So we'll cut see if I can explain this. Okay, sorry about this. I told you I haven't been feeling well, so I don't know if I'm going to make sense. This is the 3rd take, and here we go. So you're going to take those pieces that we just scored, and you're going to want to make a pocket, and it also will create the tab that we attach it to the book. So you're going to want to cut straight on the score here and keep this tab unmitered over here. Cut this tab out and then miter these two. So what happens is, now that we've done that, we'll fold the miter ones in, and that's going to create our pocket. So we'll go ahead and glue that. Okay, just like that. So that creates a side opening pocket, and then this tab here will fold back, and that's what's going to adhere to the page. Okay, and you're going to want to make 6 of these little pockets. We're going to put those on the flaps that we added, that we put the pockets on. We're going to add 3 of those to the outsides of those. So I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to finish all 6, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did 3 of them, and then I thought, well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you something. If you wanted to flip them opposite. Okay, so you should have pieces that are cut like this. So you should have a tab up here that's completely a 1/2 inch tab, and you don't miter that particular one. So then you miter this one and you miter this one, and that's what folds to make the pocket. Now, as I showed you in the very first one that we folded, I folded with the score and folded it over so it has a pocket in the side and it opens to the right. And then this piece folds back, and then that's what attaches it to the page like that. So it creates the waterfall, and then it also has a pocket. If you want it to opposite them for your album, which is what I'm going to do, so that the ones on the left-hand side I'm going to have open to the right, and the ones on the right-hand side I'm going to have open to the left. You can either completely flip them upside down, just make them all the same and flip them upside down, and then they waterfall the opposite direction, or just simply take your scores and do them the opposite, and then that way you'll end up with a pocket that will open the other direction. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to do that. So I've made 3 pockets where the opening is going to end up being on where the tab's on the top and the opening's going to be on the right. And then these I'm going to fold so that they're going to be on the left. And I hope that all makes sense. Please ask me if you have any questions. I'm really sorry. I know that I got a little cold thing medicine on board, and makes sense in my head, may not make sense in yours. So if you have any questions, let me know. But basically you just have to do the same scores, you just fold them the different direction, and then that'll create the opening for the other side. Okay, so now I've got the tab at the top, and then the side opening is on the left side, so it'll open to the left. Okay, so I'm just going to make 3 of those. So I'm just going to fold my scores in the opposite direction. And with some papers you probably shouldn't do that with. With this paper it works just fine. This cardstock from Country Craft Creations, I gotta tell you, is the best paper I have ever used. Ever. And I have been doing this for a very, very long time. And I've never seen anything like this paper, that's for sure. Okay, again, so now the top flap to attach it to the page. Okay, one more, and then I will show you how to attach one side to the page so that we can continue on with the last part of the book, and then we will be done with the actual construction, and then it's just basically just putting the papers on. So, but I'll show you how to attach this. You have to put pattern paper on first on this one because the waterfall goes on top of it. So that's why I have to show you that. Okay, so here we go. All right. So we have 3 that open to the right, 3 open to the left. Okay, so I'm going to put those aside, and I'm going to grab our book. So here's our folio. Here's the front cover, and this, I'll just turn it right side. So the folio A piece is at the top. Your 2-inch spine is over here on the left, like it should be. So we're going to open this up. This is where our waterfall is going to be, on this page and on this page. So on the, on the flaps, on the inside flaps, okay? So on the inside left flap, I'm going to put these pages, and they're going to open towards the right. So let me grab my pattern paper that I have picked out. And here it is. Here it is. Okay. And then I'm going to also, excuse my reach here, guys, grab my ink. I'm going to use some Distress ink, and I'm going to just ink the edges here real quick. This is Spectrum paper by Authentique that I was also given in the design team package, and I love it. So I've used a couple pieces of this as well. So this is going to mat this page, and then my waterfalls are going to go on top of it. Okay, so First, let's go ahead and there was a project that I did not too long ago, and I was using the Authentique papers, and like the polka dots really fit that paper, but on this paper, I feel like the stripes fit it better. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I just cut it 1/8 of an inch shorter than the cardstock it's covering. Okay, so it gives that little border. Okay, and then our waterfalls are just going to simply go on top of there, and we're going to start about 3/8 of an inch from the top, and we're going to center that down. So we're just going to grab our flap here, and it looks a little wonky. Hold on a second. I gotta fix something here. Gotta make sure your flaps are straight, or else your waterfall will go on crooked, and we don't want that. I think that looks better. All right, so I'm grabbing my ruler, and I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch down from the top of the cardstock, and I'm going to center it. Right about there. Okay. One more time because it slipped. All right. Okay. And then, so that's going to be about at the 2 1/4 inch mark using this ruler. And I'm going to lay that down. And the other nice thing is that since I'm using a striped paper, as long as you cut it straight, then you can use that as a guide too. Okay, so there's our first one laid down. And I'm gonna, that's a little, there we go, that's better. So we'll have 3 of these on each side. So then I'm just simply going to layer that down. Like that. Nice and straight. Okay. And then our third one, I'm actually going to do my little trick where I flip it the other direction and layer it on top of the previous tab. So that way when you lift it up, you don't have that tab here, and you have a nice big place for another picture. You don't have to do that. You could totally put this down, and then you can use a piece of patterned paper and, you know, put an edge on it if you wanted to. Totally up to you how you want to do it. I just like kind of the nice clean look, and there you go. So that's how you put the waterfalls onto your page, and then there'll be pocket waterfalls. And then what I did was I cut some tags, and these tags measure, if I can find my ruler. What did I do with it? I just had it. It's underneath my book. So I measured tags that are 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then those will go in here, and then out of the scraps I'm going to make little tabs to pull them out with. So you'll have 3 on each side, your pocket waterfalls, okay, and then you're going to have your base here. You'll have that on 3 sides, and then they'll each have tags, and then they'll each have places for photos. So then while we're on this subject, you're thinking, okay, so what about the closure? Well, that's one of the fun little things. So in this album, we did the pull apart envelope, the peel away envelope, I'm not sure what to call it, but the accordion envelope that comes off, because it's also the closure of this, but then we have a separate piece that comes apart. But then the closure for this is going to be really cool, because it's not only going to close the waterfalls, but it's going to close this. So you're just going to need a piece of seam binding, And let me grab that, because I have this all plotted out. So you're going to need to put the seam binding down first before you put pattern paper on here, and really super simple. Where is my score tape? So we're just going to grab our centering ruler and our score tape, and I just used some really pretty seam binding that I bought from Country Craft Creations. The seam binding that I'm going to use for the closure of the actual folio itself came in my design team package, but I had some also in my stash because I needed more. I used a lot of seam binding in this one, and probably about like that. Okay, just right in the middle. Just going to add that seam binding there. I'm just going to put another piece over top of it because I used too much. So I'm just centering it on that particular page, and I'm just going to put a wee bit here, and put that right in the middle right there. Okay, so then you're going to cover this with pattern paper, so that'll be covered up, and then this is what's going to close everything. So when you tie this together, you're going to keep not only this flap shut, but you're also going to keep your waterfall shut too, and we're going to do that on both sides. So that's how you do the closure for that. So those are my two little kind of new little variances on a closure for an album in two different places. So the break apart or tear apart or peel apart envelope, and the closure that actually not only closes the flap, but it also closes the elements in front. Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do, so you're gonna do this here and here. So when you open the album like this, these are all going to be, you know, it's going to be symmetrical. But what about this part here? So this is part of the folio base. This is base C. And that doesn't have anything on it yet. We're going to do something about that right now. So this is the last part of creating our album. So what we're going to do is a couple of accordion pieces, and really super simple to do. So you're going to need 2 pieces of paper that measure 12 by 6, and on each of them you're going to put them on your scoreboard on the 12-inch side, and you're going to score at 4 and you're going to score at 8. Okay, so both of them, again, they're 12 by 6. On the 12-inch side you're going to score at 4 and you're going to score at 8. You need 2 of those, and then you're simply going to accordion them. Okay, do like a little Z fold like this. Okay, okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our album, because we're going to use some more seam binding and make a closure. So again, this is, if you close your book, you got the A, the back cover will be the full folio piece B, and then you have the C part that we added that we never did any scoring on, and then we added that flap to it. So this is where we're going to put this. I'm just going to open it up so it's flat and I can work with it. Okay, so we have our paper here, and I grabbed the pattern paper that I'm going to use to cover it. And I did ink the edges, and again, this is the Authentique Spectrum that I really liked, and I think the stripes work better with the plaid. There's lots of plaid in this paper line, which I love. I love the colors. I just think it's super pretty. So I'm going to add that paper there. Okay, so then we're going to take our books here, or our accordions, I should say, and I'm going to go ahead and grab, this will make it easier, my little Score Pal sheet that has some markings on it. So these panels. Each panel will be 4 by 6. So at the 3-inch mark on one side, you'll need to put your score tape like that because we're going to add our seam binding closure to this. Okay? One like that and one like this. You're going to do this for both of them. Okay? This one is going to open to the bottom. If you turn it this way, it'll open to the top. So I'm going to do, I'll show you, but one's going to open to the bottom and one's going to open to the top. So, but it doesn't matter where you put it on this because you just have to turn it. So put my little piece of score tape here, grab my seam binding, so I don't know if I mentioned this or not, the seam binding, I cut them in about 12-inch lengths, which tended to be perfect for this project and for tying. And I have 2 of these. So make sure you get your alignments. So this one, when you open it up, it will go to the bottom. And this one, it will open up and go to the top. So just make sure your orientation's correct. Okay, and then you're just going to simply center them down on here. And you're going to have about 1/8 of an inch in between all the pieces. Just like that. So then we're just simply going to use our art glitter glue and glue them down. First, if you want to try to get rid of some of this floppiness, and we can trim this later, but I'll just tie that just to get it out of the way, and then add our art glitter glue. Okay, then turn this over and about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to eyeball that, kind of line it up with the lines on the paper, and there you go. And this guy will open up this way. You could put the seam binding go in the other direction if you wanted to, so coming out the sides if you felt like it. Doesn't really matter. I just kind of went with the top and bottom. Okay, so that's going to go like this. And add our art glitter glue. And of course you have to put it on the outside where you didn't want it. Okay. Here we go. Then about 1/8 of an inch on all the sides, and boom, there you go. All right, so you will have an accordion that will open up and one that will open down. So that completes the book. So as far as the construction of the actual album itself. So I know I'm going to have a pictures at the beginning and obviously a walkthrough kind of video, but this is it. So Folio A, this is the front of the book. When you open it up, you will see the left side with the waterfall pockets. This will open up, allow you to do the waterfalls, but then also to open the additional flaps. Sorry about that, I just dropped my ruler. And then you'll have a pocket here and a pocket here, and this will be all covered up with papers. Then as you look over here, you will have your accordion pockets, and this one will open down towards the bottom. This one will open up towards the top. So this was layered on top of the Folio piece C that we added on to the base of the Folio ABC. When you open that up, then you'll end up with the right flaps, which is going to have the same waterfalls over here as it does over here. It's just exactly the same way. I oriented the pockets to open up the opposite direction. Then in the center here, you will have this pull apart accordion pocket with a magnetic closure to put lots of things in and take out. You could even put photo mats on the back of here and actually put photos on the back of this if you wanted to. And then you'll have a flap here and a flap here, and then a belly band underneath. And then this magnetic pocket will hold all of that together. And then we're going to do this flap exactly the same way, so you'll still have a ribbon closure up here, and that will keep all of this down. And then you'll have another pocket here and a pocket here. So I hope that makes sense, and it will when you see the actual video of this all completed. But that is the construction of my Purebred folio, and thank you so much for coming by and watching the tutorial. And please go to Country Craft Creations, get your Purebred line by Authentique. It's really gorgeous. Whether you're a dog lover or cat lover, you're going to love this paper. It's amazing. It's just beautiful, and the pictures are just stunning. So and then also the gray artisan cardstock I used, and I used the Kraft artisan cardstock, and of course your art glitter glue, and well, if when weather permits, of course, because I know that now it might not still be okay to mail it yet, but it's there when you're ready for it. And anyways, that's what I've got for you today. Have a good day, stay crafty, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.